Polalami has been introduced. So I'm the head of digital products for Polaris Bank, one of the leading Nigeria banks, tier 2 bank in Nigeria. And here we are today, basically, right? So I'm trying to share my screen. Let me see. Am I sharing already now? Oh, okay. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So today we're talking about product development for startup, right? And in my years of experience, I have failed many times, failed in building products, right? And I have also succeeded in building products, right? One of the things that I have learned along the journey is that failure also is part of life basically, right? And then we must embrace failure along the journey. Yeah. So why I understand that I'm speaking to startup founders today, for me, when I was told, I just remember different experiences that I had, right? A huge part of my career journey started from working with startups, right? So I know how much important building a product is, even before joining Polaris Bank as an enterprise organization. Yeah. So you can trust me that I'm really hoping that you learn one or two things today, right, that can help us maximize our time. Yeah. So basically, here we are, product development for startup. So I'm going to make a lot of assumptions, and this is not found of product managers, right? And one of the assumptions that I'm going to make is that I'm going to make the assumption that everybody knows what the product is, what product management is, how to build products. So I have customized my section today, right, to not go in a conventional way, right? But I'm trying to make it relatable, drive the point home, right? And then ensure that everybody get that. Yeah, good. So let's start. Okay, I was scared a bit. Yeah. So first of all, disclaimer, these are the reasons why you should not listen to me. And the first reason is that the first product I ever built in my life, which is called Keep Up, actually failed and did not see the light of the day. So don't believe me. Don't bother listening to me. And second thing is that from being a child, one of my dreams was to study agricultural engineering, right? But I couldn't get a scholarship to study agricultural engineering as a child after graduating from a secondary school in Nigeria. That was heartbreaking. I then switched to study mechanical engineering, but I couldn't get the cutoff mark to study mechanical engineering, which I ended up studying agricultural engineering, right? So, and I also did not graduate to the first class. So don't listen to me basically because of that. Yeah. But if you are still here, right, and you feel like, okay, let's hear what he has to say. These are the things these are the reasons why you should listen. I think you should listen to me. Number one is that I'm currently the head of products for VFD Bank, right? I was formerly the head of digital products for Polaris Bank, right? And then sometimes ago in my career journey, I was a product manager at Siapa, which is like a remittance infrastructure that allows people to send money across different countries and continents. Yeah. Then Pair Coins, which is like a blockchain product that allows business to receive money anywhere in the world, powered by cryptocurrency. And then Spaceit, which is a product I built, a model of Airbnb in Nigeria, right? A model of Airbnb in Nigeria, basically. There are reasons why we had to build the product. And then I was the project manager for Grazak Academy, which is a tech environment or tech, what's it called? Tech academy for people to learn about different tech skills and the like. Yeah. So thank you for staying. I didn't see anybody drop off the call, so I believe everybody wants to hear what I want to say. Yeah. So our conversation today is in two parts, right? Number one is what makes products extraordinary and how to build one. Because the conversation, the topic really is, right, building products for startups basically, right? Product development for startups. So how then, because we can talk about product development, and again, my assumption is that everybody knows how to build products. You do this, you ideate the product, you validate with customers, right? You talk to customers. But one gap I have seen is that a lot of people don't know how to build extraordinary products, right? And because they don't know how to build extraordinary products, they end up having products that do not have sustainability. Yeah, trust me. Like I said, right, the first reason why you should not listen to me is because my first product failed. And I can tell you for a fact that I am happy for that failure. If that first product did not fail, did not see the light of the day, I would probably not be where I am today. Because what I learned from that failure has been a lesson that I always keep on taking to every product that I built. Please, if at any point you can't hear me, please let me just know so that I can always keep in check. Yeah. So let's go on. Basically, how then do we make extraordinary products? So this is a question for you. How do you make $2.6 billion from a free product? Can anybody just unmute their mic and tell me how they think? If you are, so as long as it's a tax, and then they give you a tax that, okay, we want to give you a product, and then your products can give you 2.6, can generate a revenue of $2.6 billion, right? And then, but one condition is that you have to make the product free. How then will you do that? What kind of products will you build? Can someone just give me an idea of what they would like to do, basically? And you can also drop it in the comment section. So I want to read from people. I want to hear from people. Yeah. Let me open up the comment section. Or should I call name? Similolua, Kashu, Salim. What kind of products will you build that will generate $2.6 billion? And you have to make it free. Okay, if that seems hard, just tell me the categories, maybe educational products, technology products, fintech products, right? Entertainment products. Just tell me the category that you likely build a product around. Okay, somebody is in the chat. Social media app. Okay, good. Salim. One more person before I spill the bean. I tell you the kind of product I will build, or the product I will build, or the product that has done it. A technology product. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Dale. Yeah. So now let's write on. Voila. So Temporon made $2.6 billion in revenue as at 2018. So you could imagine the first time I had to Google this up, right? It was Candy Crush I had to Google up. And as at 2020, Candy Crush has made 50 billion. Yeah, $50 billion. Yeah. You think it's impossible? Yeah, you can Google it. What's the revenue of Temporon game, right? As of 2018. Let's share what you can see in the from Google. Yeah. So it was launched in 2011, right? A free product added downloads of 1 billion times, like how they download over 1 billion times download as at 2014, monthly active users of 250 million people that plays the game monthly on a month-to-month basis, right? They also won the People's Choice Award for favorite product game. So what does this teach me about building products, product management? I'm going to share you simple things, right? I don't want to come and share you, oh, you have to do this, you have to ideate, then you have to do all of those things. No. And I'm going to, along the line, I'm going to share practical examples of how I've also integrated all of this system in my day-to-day activities, basically. And I can give you numbers. Just the same way, who was that person? Just the same way, Abera feels it is impossible. Abera, please let me know when you've Googled it and you've confirmed or cross-checked the numbers, all right, the revenue. So let me know so that everybody can believe me. Yeah. So Temple Run, we are basically. So we cannot imagine that. So let's write on. So rule number 1, right? Don't make me think. You understand? Just like Temple Run, right? Candy Crush, Temple Saga. One of the things is that they are easy to play, right? Easy to play. I usually tell people that when your product, right, needs a user guide, it means that there is something you are doing wrong. Your product in itself should be self-intuitive, right? Such that users knows what to do or an action they carry out leads them to know the next action that would likely possible, right? This is one of the things that these games have actually hacked. You would never see the first time I played Temple Run, that should be like 2015, thereabouts. I didn't have to go and use Google, how do I play Temple Run? How do I jump? How do I fly? How do I bend down when I'm crossing this thing? How do I swim in all of those things? I didn't have to do that. Intuitively, I know what to do, right? Like you can see the image on my screen, right? The coins are lined up in such a way that they tells you, okay, this is going up, right? So it means that, oh, I need to go up, I need to jump, or I'm seeing a space, I need to jump. So these are like key ideas or key thought out structures into the product. So as a founder, you must ensure that you are building products that users can use by themselves without needing your input. Yes, I know you've done your market validations. I know we will get to that actually. I have to add it up at the end of my slide here, basically, right? I know you know that, okay, I want to build an NFT product. I want to build a blockchain product. But the question is that, first of all, I like to tell people, you are dealing with humans. Humans have behavioral psychology traits. We must understand that. If we don't understand that, right, it means that whatever product you are building in any niche, there would be struggle in using that product. And a lot of times, right, I see people make this mistake, especially in the banking fintech sector. Oh, people want to just do this, people just want to do that. And I'm like, what's the primary goal of a user using your bank app? The primary goal is to carry out transactions, solve that problem, and let users tell you they need other things. If you don't solve that problem, that is when you start seeing users complain. Oh, your bank app is down today. I cannot transfer. I cannot move my money. Please come up. Let your bank app come up and let me move my money. I'm not doing again. You get to see that on Twitter because you are not building products that requires less thinking from the hands of the users, right? A whole lot of times you see people using user guide on products. I'm like, you don't need this in the first place. because you are making user think. The more you make them think, the more they find difficulty in using your products. And once they have that assumption being made up in their head, the less they get to think about your products. This is how they've made games, Temple Run, Candy Crush, and become addictive to users, right? Because there is less thinking, right? That's the first thing. The second rule, so the thing is that we have to ask the question, right? What do women, so just like sometimes, right? I know for males here, you are like wondering, like, oh, women today they are saying this, tomorrow they are saying this, right? There's an initial confusion and there's an after confusion. But the question is, do you understand what does your customer really want? You understand? So there is this thing I use. I should have added it here, right? And I learned it from Start With Why by Simon Sinek, right? There is this golden cycle. It called it golden cycle, where there is the why, there is the how, no, there is the what, and there is the how. Why are we building this product, right? Then the next question is, what are we going to build? Then before you now go to how are we now going to build this product, we must understand this. The fundamental is, why are we building this product? We are building this product because our customer said they really, not that they want, not that they desire, right? Not that they wish. Because sometimes we confuse people's wish. Oh, I wish you can have this. When I hear customers say that, my next question is, do you really wish this? Or do you think this is important to you? Once they cannot answer that question, I know that this is not a product to build. This is also going to guide you in your market survey and the likes. A lot of times, I just see people do market survey, send forms, they now ask questions, people answer those questions. And I'm like, you're not going to get the real value, right, from your survey, because you're not asking a really question. Or sometimes people make the mistake of saying, okay, if you have this kind of app that does this, are you going to pay for it? Default settings, I will just say, oh, let me just help this person. They need information. Okay, yes, I'm going to pay for it. But in reality, right, that's not the question you should be asking me. The question you should be asking me is that, does this product solve a problem in my day-to-day activity or in my life, right? So we must understand this. And by the time we begin to understand this, then we can now begin to produce products that stays ahead, right? That stays for a longer period of time, right? So these are really, really important. These are really, really important matters. Yeah, so let's go ahead, right? The next thing that I tell people is that ask them. You understand? Ask them. So one of my experience working in an enterprise organization, which is the bank, like a whole lot of stakeholders, you have plenty of people to work with. And then there is not enough room for you to really talk to your customers. How do they feel, right? How do they use your product? How do they interact with your product? There is no that time. One of the things that I do personally, I will just pick up a PM, then go to the support, like to the support office, right? And okay, let's just go. Then I go there. Oh, what's your challenge today? What have been the most complaint people you are getting from people, like most frequent complaint they are getting from customers? Then they tell me, oh, this is not working. People are complaining about this. People are complaining about that. I take note of that. And then go back to my team and I analyze those complaints I have gotten as a feedback and then resolve them, right? Even while working as a startup, right, we just assume like, okay, customers will want a saving product. So let's add target savings. Let them save. Let them create a plan to save. Then we go and copy a same product that is doing well, copy their model, when we don't even know why they built that product or the feature they've built. When we copy it and paste it into our product, so a lot of times you see people just are like, this thing is looking like this product. What is happening? Who copied who? Right? Because a lot of times we don't even know our customers. And sometimes, and most times rather, we don't ask them questions. For example, look at this image here. Look at what you have been asked. Have you ever been in an accident that resulted in your death? Click yes or no. So they're trying to take. The first time I saw this, I'm like, wait a minute. Hold up. So are you trying to tell me that?
I'm feeling this survey now.
so I'm like, so if I'm dead, I will resurrect to come and answer your question. That okay, oh yes, I was involved in an accident and then it led to my death. Right? What exactly are they expecting from this survey? Now let's think about it. So these are mistakes that people make in products. So you can get your idea right. You can get your product right. But do you know what to build and why you are building what you are building? Right? So most times I tell people use a 5 why framework, which is what? Ask why 5 times. Why do you want to eat? You understand? Why? Okay, I want to eat because I feel like eating beans. Why did you feel like eating beans? Because I saw my friend eating beans in the office. Why do you think it is important for you to eat beans? It could be your health might not take it, you eating beans, right? You ask why till you get a satisfying answer. This helps you not to think for the user, assume for the user, right? But helps you in knowing the pain points of the user, right? So basically avoid confirmation bias by consciously seeking contradicting evidence. So most times, what this means is that most times I want to build a blockchain product, right? And then I look at, okay, 50 million people are tech savvy, right? Out of 50 million people, Binance released a report that 2 million people trade every day. Okay, so let me build a product that does, for example, let's say P2P, right, on the blockchain network. And like, okay, I think about, let's say 200, 500,000 people would use my products, right? And then I come and meet users and say, okay, please fill this form. I want to build a B2B platform and I want to make it this way. Tell me, should I build it this way? Do you like me building this way? You understand? We want to validate what we already have in mind, right? I hope I am helping somebody here, right? So let's go. The second rule, right? And this is going to justify why Candy Crush is able to get that amount of revenue. Number one, the number 2 rule, right, is that offer immediate rewards. The reason why you will be addicted to Candy Crush Temple Run is because you know that by the time you run, right, you are targeting the number of coins you are able to get or attract to yourself on Temple Run. So the next time you want to increase the number of coins that you would win. And the reason they have to structure it that way is that your tax, your reward, this is what you do, this is your reward, right? I come to your bank platform to make transaction, I get a successful transaction, right? That's a reward. I'm seeking that reward. This is why I'm coming to your bank platform. If I'm not getting that reward, it's harder for me to come back. And when it becomes harder for me to come back, then it becomes either for your product to become sustainable. Eventually, the product will die. And then we now blame it. Most times, people blame it on lack of funding. Most times, people blame it on resources, right? Sometimes people say the customers are not even present. Meanwhile, you are unable to tie the tax to the reward. You understand? Truly, we're in a microwave generation, and we need to be proud about that. Instant coffee, instant likes, right? This is why you see social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, right? They buttress the likes. People are posting images for likes. Instagram configure the algorithm to say, okay, when you post reels, you will get more visibility, which results into getting more likes. People started doing reels. This is why TikTok is trending, right? Because instant satisfaction. You are seeing the number of views, you are seeing the number of likes, you are seeing the number of comments, right? And then they're not like, okay, you can turn it off if you don't want it. That's another conversation entirely, because they're trying to cater for users that, okay, I don't need it. I'm not for the likes, right? But predominantly, the product is built around reward. What's my reward for posting images, for posting my pictures? This is why you see some people, oh, I did not get any likes on Instagram. Let me commit suicide, or I fall into depression. You think it's just like, but to that, the interpretation of that likes is that likes is a reward. The reward of me doing a work of posting picture is the likes, is the comments, is the views, right? And all of those things. So you must do the FTLT for the customers. Let them do a task, let them get the reward. No matter, I bet you, no matter what kind of product you are building in any kind of sector, these principles makes you build quality products. Quality products. Products that stays long. Temporal has been existing since 2011, right? And they are still available today. Yeah. So the third rule is that social validation. People like themselves. Let me tell you a funny story. While we're building, so we're currently building like a new version of we recently released it actually, a new version of the Polaris mobile app. And then while we're doing our products, questioning, talking to users and the likes, it was surprising to know that, because in my assumption, I was like, people don't need profile picture. How do you need your profile picture to be able to validate that you are the one, you are the user? You understand? I don't want you to see your profile picture. But to my surprise, people were telling us, oh, please, I want to be able to change my profile picture. I'm like, is it Instagram or what? Why are you changing your profile picture? Right? And then one of the management executive, I installed the new app on his phone last month. And then the first thing he did was to change his profile picture. One thing I realized was that he was now smiling. He was smiling. He was like, oh, I can change my profile picture. This is very good.
Hello, Solomon, we can't hear you again. Yeah, I guess his network is freezing. Um, okay, please Just stay on the call. It's going to join us back.
I am so sorry. My network turned off. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Apologies, please. Apologies. Let me try to share again. Can everybody see my screen now? They can see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. I don't know where you guys stopped hearing me. Okay. So I was saying social validation. People like themselves. And this is why on this temple run, you will see, okay, you are number 22 out of 1,000 people that has played the game. Even though that is not true, you suddenly feel happy, right? You feel happy. You are trying to, okay, you don't have coins again. You are trying to buy more coins so that you can be in the race to become the first. And the more they see, okay, this person, this particular target user is making attempts to reach there, they now increase you, okay, you're now number 5. You had more energy, more time, right, to play the games. So social validations, right? And a lot of times in some products, it's hard for you to do social validations. So most times I just work with my marketing team and like, let's do social validation. This person saved, right, 10%. This person is like highest saver. Let's post them on Instagram. Oh, I'm the highest saver for this month. Wow, let me save more. It brings more money to your product. It brings more visibility to your product. And then users are also happy. Other people get to see, they're like, let me to be on their own record though. Let me be on that record. They start using, okay, use this app, download this app, and the likes. And that's why you see companies like, I don't know if you guys know about PiggyVest. They'll release WAEC results at the end of the year, right? And they say, this is your saving report. Then people get to share it. As people get to share it, more people get to know about the company. Or most of them use Spotify, right? At the end of the year, you get your Spotify wrap. One thing for something funny happened like some way ago. There is a song I've been listening to, right, for the past 3 months. I'm like, end of the month, this guy is going to get number 1. I said, no, the person that got number 1 last year has to feature as number 1 or number 2. So I had to start changing my algorithm to start playing the other guy's song, right? Because at the end of the year, I am targeting Spotify rap. I want to know, I already know the person that is going to be number 1. I already know the person that is going to be number 2 in my mind, right? And all of those things. So that resulted me into listening to more music than I would ever had, right? Because I know at the end of the year, there's a social validation that comes to me. I get to post it like, oh, I am your top 1% fan, right? And then I tag my favorite musician on Twitter. I'm top number 1 fans, right? And then it gets to be like, oh, thank you for listening to my music. It makes me feel happy, right? It makes me feel like, oh yeah, let's go. Next year we go harder. I'm going to be your 0.5% and the likes, basically. Yeah. So let's go. So this is it. So this is a funny image I saw on Twitter. Then basically, so for people, it's not quite clear, and I try to make that clear. Yeah. So a staircase is attached to a building. not a building actually, but to the roof, right? Another mistake people make is that they're trying to build futures, right? They're trying to build futures. For posterity's sake, don't build futures, build solutions. I tell people all the time, just build solutions. All of the cumulative of all I have said, this is the summary. Building solutions for your customer, right? Solution that Temporon is building is to keep you entertained, right? Keep you engaged with your devices, keep you entertained. You feel satisfaction, you feel relaxed by playing the game. That's the solution. The solution now results into your future. This is why you must ask the question, what is my why? What is my Z? What is all of these things, right? They are important. It is beyond futures, epics, user stories, right? And all of those things. So a common mistake that I see people make is that they turn every feedback into a new feature. Please, it's a mistake that we should not make. Turning feedbacks into new features, no. Let's not do that, right? Building solutions and not features. So this one is just understanding product development, right? Another assumption I'm making is that a lot of people yet might not know how to build products. I've talked about how to build a product that lasts. But what is your part in this? First thing is that you have to generate ideas, right? But in generating ideas, it's not just the end. So it's not just about product development, it's not just about building products. Like I said here, it's about identifying a problem. Identifying a problem. So you're not just sleeping and say, I think people would need this. You're identifying a problem. Facebook identified a problem. A lot of you guys knows, I've probably watched about, because I believe you guys are founders, I've watched about interviews about this guy, Mark Zuckerberg, right? Oh, I wanted to build a social app for people in my university to connect to each other, to talk with one another, share information with one another. That led into was Facebook, because it was a global problem. People were not connecting, yet we're in a digital age, right? People want smarter phones, which led to building iPhones or Apple as a whole, right? Steve Jobs, right, wanted to make compress the computer, right, into a small device people can carry along, makes them look smarter. You can do your work from anywhere. It resulted into Mac, right? People are building, solving problems. So that I said solutions, not futures. You're not trying to copy and paste, but you understand what the problem of your customer is. That is the first criteria for product development. Understanding what the problem is, identifying what the problem is. You are certain that this is the problem, and then you now come up with possible solutions for that problem or to that problem. These possible solutions that you've come up with, right? They are clusters or a group of solutions. You now begin to validate those products, right? You begin to validate them, validate those ideas, those solutions. When you begin to validate, is this going to work? Is this most important solution or the most viable solution to this customer or to this problem, right? Sorry, just a second. My neighbor is trying to knock my door. Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm back here now. Yeah, basically, so you validate those products, and the next step is to build an MVP, right? Building an MVP for a product simply means building the most viable product, right? Building the most viable product. What is the testing the market, experimenting, right? Experimenting. Okay, let's take this into the market. Are people even going to use it in the first place? Are people going to welcome this solution in the first place? Okay, this is how people react to this solution. You now test the market with that, then you come back, iterate, and then scale it. So most times, people make the mistake of thinking about scaling from the beginning without validating the idea, without building the MVP, without iterating. They just jump into scaling. So these are the most guaranteed step that I have worked with, I have used in building all of my products: Paysit, Payer Coins, Siapa Pay, Vault app, right? And the likes. Generating the idea, coming up with clusters of solutions, validating the most viable solution, building an MVP for it, then iterating it, then scaling it. What are product advantages? Making it user-friendly, making it flexible, making it reliable, making it real-time, and then making it scalable. All of this, incorporating all of this, right, will help you into building a sustainable product for your company, for your startup, or for the market or the ecosystem. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to help or add value to you this evening. So I don't know if does anybody have questions to ask me? Yeah. So thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you very
Over to you.
much. Thank you so much. I think that somebody's raising his hand already. Yeah, so we're gonna give room for questions now. I know there's going to be a lot of questions. And if you don't have any question, you can just let us know what you are able to take out of this conversation. Like, just let us know if you got any value, any particular insights that you can use for your product or on your startup. So, Caleb Bonga, you can go ahead and ask your question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Maylene. So yeah, I just wanted to say that was a great presentation. Made us understand a few fundamental concepts about understanding the creating available product. So yeah, my question, first of all, I have like a few. So Solomon, I wanted to ask you, like, how would you develop our product if you were in our position, the official document verification platform? Like from the
So
base
I
level of
didn't
just
get that. Can you take that again?
yeah, I was saying just from the base level of like having a platform whereby you can upload any document and then have it verified. How would you scale it?
How
Especially
would
with
I
like
scale it?
futures. Yeah, especially with like futures and customer segments, like focusing on which customers.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So your
yeah,
question, okay, your question is, if I have a product that does uploading of documents, right?
yes,
How would I scale it? Especially looking that you have a variable numbers of customer segments,
yes,
right? Okay. So that's basically simple. The first thing that I would do is to understand all of my customer segments, right? All of my customer segments. Do I know them in the first place? And what exactly do they need? So this now, for example, I can say, let's assume one of my customer segments is an enterprise organization, and what they
yeah,
need is a bulk upload of documents, right? I then basically structured my pricing to cater for that future. So this is why you get to go to different sites like Canva, right? Is Canva a good example right now? Oh yeah, let me use that email platform like Flowdex. I don't know if you know about Flowdex. Yeah, basically, you get to see it, and then they put price in there. They put individual, they put startup, and then they put enterprise organization. And then you are saying that this particular future, it's in an enterprise organization, it's not featured in the startup or it's not featured in the individual. The reason is because they know that a startup or an individual does not need these products. So there is no point letting them to do trial and error. So let's remove it from them. Let's keep to the enterprise that needs it, right? And as an enterprise organization, I come to the platform, check the list. I'm like, okay, they have work upload. I need it. I pay for it. So I'm going to talk to each of my customers, know what they need, after knowing who they are, and then now build it based on what they need, and then give them those options. This is what you need. This is what I am providing, right? I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my question a bit, but okay now. So for us, we wanted to focus on like implementing the KYC verification process. That's usually seeked out by companies to know their customers, right? So that's one feature we're thinking about, like focusing on like earlier on. And then also
Oh, okay. That's
yes.
continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
Then yeah. Well, one of the industries wanted to focus on based on like on how I would use the platform. I just wanted to like, okay, upload my graduate certificate and then share it with my potential employers, basically. So one of the industries we wanted to go into was HR management, and focusing on like the employer-employee relationship. So I'm wondering if
Oh,
it's
oh, yeah, it's valid in as much as you've done your due diligence, right? It's actually very
okay.
valid. So if you've talked to your customers and they want all of those things, right? But let me give you this tip. I was invited to a product demo, right? Sometimes last week, and I told them clearly, I was like, yeah, come to an enterprise organization, and then you are asking me to automate requests, right? They're doing a fraud check, and then they want me to log heavy transactions, every transaction request that I feel it's fraudulent, so that they can always use that to track any other transaction. And I asked them, I'm like, I don't think there is any department in this bank that is going to take up that job. And is there something, do you have a, a, a future that automates this? I can plug into it reading transaction references, and then tell you based on that, tell it, okay, transaction above this XYZ amount, right? Indicate them as fraudulent. Then somebody at the end of the day comes to review. Instead of me checking, oh, this is fraudulent, let me impute it. I'm like, being sincere with you, your product is nice, but for an enterprise organization which I am in, I'm not going to use it. For a startup, yes. For an individual, yes. But for an enterprise organization, no. You understand? So this is a clear example of what I'm saying. They've not done their due diligence to say this is what enterprise organization would need, right? So in as much as you've done your due diligence, you've talked to your customers, you're not just assuming for them, please go ahead, do an MVP of your product, test it in the market, try to see how it works, try to see people's reaction, and then basically now we iterate and then basically scale. Does this answer you?
Yeah. No, thank you for that answer. So last question, just any suggestions on how the revenue model should be for this document verification? So I assume it's going to be mostly
Ah,
from the organizational side. I assume it's mostly going to be from the organizational side because the early feedback we got is like most people just prefer to like share their documents, freely, just PDFs. So I'm wondering how exactly are we going to be getting money, and I'm thinking it's going to be from the organizations mostly.
how? Okay. I don't want to give you a direct answer, right? Because there was an article I wrote about 2 months ago, and the reason I wrote the article is because of something I also saw, and because this is an open house, yeah. So some two Indian companies came and then they try to pitch their product like, okay, we can help you guys verify customers for loans. And one of the defects I saw in their product was that they built the company or the product based on Indians' prerogative, right? And I'm like, this is a different culture. Nigeria is a different culture. It's a different environment. So your product might not suit in. Not that your product is not good, but it doesn't suit into the culture, right? And this is why you would see the algorithm for TikTok in China is different from the algorithm of TikTok in Nigeria, Kenya. It's different from the algorithm of TikTok in USA. Why? Because of the environment variables. You understand? So I don't want to give you a direct answer to say, okay, this should be the structure of your revenue model. We can talk later, right? And then analyze all of the scenarios at play and then come up with a suitable revenue model, right? Maybe. But one of the things you can look at for is that look at products in your domain, in your subdomain. What is a revenue model like? The first thing that gives you is that gives you insight into the market structure of that product within your reach, within your environment, right? The next question, if I were you, that I'll ask myself is, does this revenue model everybody's adopting, does it truly work, right? If it works, the third question I'll ask myself is this the viable revenue model that I can break the market, that I can break with into the market, right? Is this the most viable? Can I restructure it? And I'll give you a clear example. I've been thinking like, let me look at example outside of Nigeria, but I'm in Nigeria and most of the product, yeah. So an example is that we have bikes. We call them Okada in Nigeria, like they are bike motorcycles rider in Nigeria, right? If you come to Lagos, you'll see them along the streets. Oh, how much are you going to take me from this location to this location? Okay, 500 naira, right? Okay, let's negotiate 300 naira. Then Opay came into the market and they were like, you can just input your location from year to year. You would pay XYZ amount, right? They know the price. The only way they could break even into the market, penetrate into the market, was to do a lower cost, right? So is this going to be work? I'm probably sure they did a lot of analysis to arrive at that conclusion, right? Number one, I'm no longer negotiating. Right, I am now seeing like a real-time amount. I could budget, right, in advance that, okay, I'm going through this location, enter into my OPay app, and then see, okay, go from here to here. Okay, this is like, I know exact amount that will take me to where I'm going. Rather than me saying, I am going to get with my junction, board a bike, negotiate with the person, all of that has been removed. But the question is, how will user use it? Let me bring the price down, right? Break into the market, then increase the price, or make the price as par with what the market is saying, right? So you have to analyze all of these scenarios to be able to arrive at a conclusion, right? Number one, look around you. What is the pricing model? What's the revenue structure? What is the pricing structure within the ecosystem of that product within your locality? if it's a global product, right, look at different localities. So this is it's an ill-looking task to do, right? Take it continent by continent. What's the price structure? What's the price revenue model, right? Break it down. They'll not take it from there to ask yourself, is this most viable? What are the other options available? And then you not test it. Since in all sincerity, let me say this, there is no crime in iterating. There is no crime in changing. You must just find a way. The only crime is that a lot of people don't know how best they can communicate it to their customers, right? So that's the only mistake that people make. But I want to change my revenue model from this to this. It doesn't work for me, right? I'm not making money by that. By all means, change it. Confirm it works, and then announce to your customer in a more subtle way, in a most amazing way, that they would love you and not reject your product.